You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Dave Johnson.
The AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California. Presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AFTERBUZZ TV's Klondike After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Klondike After Show.
Hey guys, and welcome to the final episode of Klondike. That was quick there, only 3 episodes, but
so quick.
Exciting stuff. So
yet so long at the same time.
Yeah, 3 movies.
2 hours straight's a long time. It's like a movie each time that you're doing it.
It is. It's awkward because I think I feel very invested, but now I can't be because that's it.
That's it. It's done.
I know, I'm like, man, the wrap-up was so short too. But joining us today, the lovely Stephanie Giorgi.
Hey, y'all.
And also lovely Dillon Chance.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. And Scott Moore next to me.
Yes, not lovely, but still.
Oh no,
But
you're lovely.
incredibly
You're so lovely.
More so than anyone in this room. Shines and sparkles.
And then the loveliest.
Oh, you
them all.
shouldn't. You shouldn't. And guys, I'm Dave Klein. And guys, we're ready to jump right into it. So let's go ahead and talk about the intro of the episode where we've got the Native Americans. It looks like they are ready to attack. So not good tidings, it looks like, from the very get-go.
Yeah.
So
Nope.
They're moving in. They're moving in pretty hard, pretty quick, because they got to save their friends. They see the nooses out front. They know something's about to happen, so they don't have long.
yeah, they don't have long at all. And it's too bad because, I mean, we figure out later in the episode that really we're almost like, man, I wish they just waited a little bit. Although things kind of work themselves out in a lot of ways. But then you also have Bill and Meeker panning for gold. And crucial plot point here, Meeker going to the bathroom.
Yes.
You didn't think that would be.
Yeah.
But
No.
it is.
How
Man.
incredibly crucial that one ended up being. So definitely good for that. But they ended up talking about what they're going to do with their money. So also some another big, like a lot of points here that ended up foreshadows here that would lead to bigger things. So Bill talking about wanting to buy 1 acres of farmland in Vermont, and then Meeker saying that all he wanted was an orange.
Right.
And I was just thinking, man, he is really silent when he poops. That's all that was on my mind. He also didn't wipe his butt
It was
either.
a very
Or
easy
wash his hands
conversation.
afterwards.
Yeah.
I was like,
He didn't wipe his butt. He didn't wash his hands. This is, I was like, no wonder diseases spread.
yes, exactly.
That's life in the Klondike.
You didn't notice? Did you see that, like, it was cloth that they had? I mean, you don't see it until later when he goes to the restroom again, but they're just
Okay.
using, like, the same, like,
Oh,
tension
I know.
material.
I did see that. I was like, oh, it's awful.
I
The
guess
whole
it's like
thing
how
is.
people used to use handkerchiefs when they would blow their nose, and the same one over and over again.
Oh, yeah.
Ugh, yeah,
So-
it's awful. Think of it.
Saving trees.
Yeah, these are the things I pay attention to when I'm
I
watching
do
the
too.
show.
Actually, because
Yeah.
the moment he walked in, I'm like, there's no running water, and he didn't wash his hands.
I mean, I wasn't even that. I was thinking, like, how did he wipe? He just walked out. It's like,
He did. I guess he had to shake a little. Oh,
He wiped
no.
with gold.
exactly.
That's right.
Exactly. So Goodman comes over and offers to help with this elk that Bill needs to go hunt, and offers to go with Bill. So that's the point that we're going to get to there. So they end up going off and doing that, and he talks about being this really good sniper, and that's what he did in the war. And
And you see Bill just kind of putting all the pieces together.
yeah, I mean, it's interesting that he was willing to reveal all that information like that. I was just thinking, like, he's not too bright exactly if he wants to hide that he was the one.
Well, sometimes it's one of those strategies where, like, he'll always, if you're obvious, then you're not obvious. So maybe he tried doing that, but in a situation where there's no one else to suspect, that wasn't a good idea. Yeah.
Right, and then 2 of them were going off alone, and of course they were making it all tense. Also,
Right.
that was funny too. They're like, again, the rugged Klondike. It was like 10 miles away to go hunt elk. I was like it was just around the corner. I'm like, that's a lot of effort to go,
Yeah.
across to go shoot for elk. But I love the way they were building the tension the whole time. It was just the 2 of them, and You know, when he takes the shot at the when Goodman takes the shot at the
Let
elk
me prove to you that I indeed am the killer.
from like over Bill's shoulder.
And while he's looking, that's the scariest part too. I don't know why Bill just wouldn't kind of scoot over while all of that was happening.
I would be like, let me get away and behind you shooting at the elk. You know, it was like right over his shoulder.
Yeah, he didn't even do like a little like side shift with
That's
his head.
exactly
Like,
what are you doing?
Yeah.
I know.
Just stand there and wait and see, like, well, is he going to kill me or not? I guess I'll know if he's the killer if he does.
And it was like a silent moment, and he was just staring at him like, what are you thinking right now? I couldn't even fathom what it would be.
Right.
We also learn a bit about Goodman's background here, that he was fought in the war and he lost his thumb at this point, so kind of got dealt a bad hand of cards in the sense where kind of comparing to he feels like a primate because now he doesn't have this thumb. He has another working thumb though, so
I know.
Yeah,
Take it
man.
easy,
Get over
guys.
it.
you
Yeah,
don't even have
come
video
on.
games back then, so what does it
Yeah,
matter?
what does it
You don't
matter?
need 2 thumbs, you only need
No,
1. You can
come
still pick
on.
up a cup.
First
Yeah.
world problem.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, seriously, very first world there in the Klondike. That's as first world as it gets, especially the privies.
Yeah, well, that was nice.
So we come back to Father Judge, who's praying for help as he's incredibly sick, and Sabine still taking care of him. And Bill comes in after this to see and try and get a confirmation from Father Judge if it was Goodman, because he really suspects it. And I don't really take that as a nod from Father Judge when he just looked down.
Oh, that was absolutely a nod.
Oh,
that
that
was
was
as
a nod.
discreet as it could be.
It was like a, I'm going to look away from you
no,
and
it was
have my face.
no, it was a. I can't believe I'm doing this, but yeah, like that's all I'm giving you. I'm not gonna do any of this. You just get one movement, and you can take it for what it is.
No, I mean, I got that, but I was still just like, that wasn't like a total 100% confirmation. I was like, well,
You know what? Then don't ask the question.
Well, no, because like, I mean, what if he was just like looking down though, and then it's just like, well, I don't want to answer. I can't answer this type of
I'll take that as a yes.
whatever.
Take it as you will.
Take it as you will, and he sure did.
More importantly, we've seen orange. That's the important point. Is we've
$100 orange.
I know, seriously, $100.
Well, they had to go from faraway lands to get there. That was a lot of effort to get those oranges up there.
The
They're
far
expensive.
West Coast, California.
Yeah,
That's
shipped
I'm
them right
assuming
up the
that's where
coast.
I got it
Yeah.
from. At least it wasn't coming all the way from the East Coast. That would have been really far if it was from the East Coast.
Oh, I know.
But man, West Coast, that's not far. It's
That's
like,
not too far.
It's nothing. So Belinda, in this scene, Bill escorts Belinda out of the sick bay, and Bill has this killing sort of look on him.
Oh yeah, a killer look.
I don't want you coming back if you got that killer look still on you.
Yeah, she says the Yukon got you, didn't it?
She's like, I never want to see you again as long as you have that look on your face.
I like that whole conversation was just Belinda, by the way.
Yeah.
Bill just sat there and was like, "Yep."
But
Yeah.
she's, I mean, that's
say anything.
the one thing is I almost wish we got to know more of why she was so intense about it. It was like crazy intense over that. Like, you're going to lose your civilization and you got that killer look. It's Yukon's turning you. Like, she was just very intense about all that.
Yeah.
Bill definitely became her hope for like humanity and everything else that she might see in the future for herself.
I just wished they might have said a little more into why she felt the way she did so intensely. Like, what
Right.
had happened in her past to make her...
Like maybe she
crazy
loved
about
the
it.
man,
Right.
he killed
Right,
someone.
that's what I kept thinking.
Exactly.
She
Something
does
had
talk about
happened.
a dark past, yeah.
Yeah.
But she never goes into detail to knowing exactly what that dark past is.
Right.
Obviously, it was a man who wasn't turned by the Yukon and then got a killing look and then ended up dying in an attempt for revenge. So
Right.
clearly, I
Yeah.
mean, come on,
Obviously.
you missed this completely.
It's very obvious, of course.
It's very obvious. So, as they're leaving, the Count now comes in to visit Father Judge and just completely mocks him for having typhus and asks to be stricken down by the Lord.
Oh yeah, because he's claiming that he killed him.
Right.
'Cause he's like, yeah, it
Yeah.
was me that killed you because I put all these sick people in your church.
Yeah, what a pompous like asshole. I mean, seriously.
I don't know how many times during the episode I kept saying, "What a piece of,
Me too, right?
what a piece of."
I'm like, he's gonna get his.
Yeah.
He'll get his Klondike karma.
Right.
Yeah, there was that whole karma thing that they got into later too, with
yeah.
Soapy Soaps.
Yeah.
Soapy
Soapy
Smiths.
Soaps.
I prefer the name Soapy Soaps. So Soapy Soaps is at the dentist, speaking of which, and he has a new fake tooth as the supervisor comes in to escort him for the fake claims. So it's not for the buying out, but it was from what we saw in the first episode. So
One, I love how they found him, and two, I also love that the guy actually really wasn't a dentist. He just learned from his dad. I was like, wow.
Well, back in the day, barbers barbers were also dentists and surgeons.
Yeah.
And the reason why they have that little, what is it, the white and blue thing?
The snake.
Is for the towels that used to be filled with blood. They would hang them outside the like the store, and then that would signify where you could get a barber or like a dentist, and that's how they knew it was
I'm
there.
like, oof.
That's a random fact. I'm
Wait.
sorry.
So they would hang a towel on that white and blue
Like,
thing?
you know, like when you would clean up the blood, they would hang their towels over, like, you know, right in front of the door. And then kind of when you would see that, that's where you would know a barber was at.
Oh, because I mean, I got the barber sign, like the thing. I just didn't know they did a towel thing for it. So
No, that's how it originated. And then they became more civilized and didn't use bloody towels.
I just figured you meant like it was originally a pole like that, and then they put a towel on it. I'm like,
The bloody towel spins around the pole.
why are they putting a bloody towel on this pole?
No.
Which doesn't that sound fantastic to know? That's where it is. When you see the bloody towel, okay, good.
Oh,
Not only are you
good
learning the
hands
history
now.
about the Klondike from watching this after show, you're also learning other historical facts here.
You're learning so
No, that's cool.
much.
I'm glad you know that. That's a really cool fact.
did
So-
his tooth have a diamond in it?
It has something.
I
I
had
thought,
like
I thought it was a gold thing at first because I
Maybe.
thought it was a diamond that looked like, oh, they put a
No,
little
yeah,
chip
he
of
was
gold.
trying to get a
Yep.
grill.
Yeah,
You
that's
guys didn't hear?
He got his
the only thing
gold
is a
That's,
grill.
that's where it started,
Yeah.
was in the Klondike.
Yeah.
That's
Obviously,
started with that
that's-
videos.
Nah, it's all Klondike, man.
Yeah.
People nowadays we're just ripping straight from the Klondike.
Yeah.
Oh, shoot.
Anytime I see someone with a grill, I'll be like, dude, that's so
Yeah.
Klondike.
That's so Klondike.
That's so 1899.
Jeez, 1890s,
You
man.
ain't know, what's his name? Soap.
Soapy.
So,
Yeah,
you know
soapy
soapy soaps.
soaps.
You know soapy soaps.
Who you think you are, Soapy Soaps? Get out of here.
Wow, we took that so far.
And we're just gonna keep going with
Yeah.
it.
Ooh.
You just take it until it's not. I always take things until they're not funny anymore.
Yeah.
Now you all know. So Belinda is a.
What if they weren't funny to begin with, though?
I keep on going anyways. Until I hope it gets funny. It doesn't. So Belinda is annoyed about her workers not being able to work. As it turns out, the count's men are leaning on them. So she goes to talk to these hired gunmen, and they won't switch sides. But Belinda throws money in their face, and it kind of brings up that thought that it turns out Belinda really did take all of the count's actual money. So everything that she sold to him and got, it really was the last of his money, even though he was claiming and talking the big talk. It was the last of his physical money. So,
Which the other guy says it, the white gunman says it to him. He's like, "Are you sure that's your cash? Like, it's all of it?" And he's like, "Go ahead, get it."
yeah.
Yeah.
It's also, I don't know, it's just too bad because now he won't be buying any oranges anytime soon. You could buy 60 oranges with that $6,000.
60.
A line
lasts a
that I
long time.
loved was when he was talking about the oranges when Meeker was, that he says a fruit made with individual slices,
Yeah.
for every
Yeah.
bite. He's like,
yeah.
it makes you want to think who the creator was.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
that
was
love
great.
that because it's true.
It was like you could taste the color.
It's a great conversation.
It was.
Every episode makes me like Meeker more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
was so great.
especially on this episode, I really liked him
Yeah.
after that. I'm sorry.
And he's
I
a nice,
know.
innocent man, too.
He was. Just a good guy.
He is just a good guy. He really is. He's just like the most innocent, nice guy. So Cavendish is pissed at this point at the superintendent because the superintendent still hasn't done anything to the Native Americans. And he comes up with an excuse about the ropes.
Which was a good excuse, I
It
thought,
was.
in his
I thought
defense.
so
I was like,
too.
that's
Yeah.
a good one. That kind of
I
makes
would
it work.
Bought him some days.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So the Cavendish gives him 2 days to do it. And also is pissed about Soapy Soaps.
Yeah.
And the
Soapy
fact that Soapy Soaps, apparently we find out is a middleman now for all these people coming in, and that all these claims that Soaps has been buying up is basically just to now sell on to these bigger companies. So he's actually just kind of a tool in the larger equation. He is a
Yes.
tool,
Right.
but in
He
the
is.
larger
The
equation.
one who was just looking for opportunities.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Toonies in the Klondike. And so he then comes back to find Sabine has been feeding the superintendent, or wait, no, not the superintendent. I wrote that down completely wrong. So he's just hand feeding. Sorry, the superintendent comes back to find that Sabine has been feeding the Native Americans. And there's this moment with the two of them, and you kind of could tell before there's a little tension between the superintendent and
He
Sabine.
likes her.
Just a little bit.
That was.
But she's a woman of the cloth now.
Duh.
Yeah, but I also like
became-
I like the scene though right before with the superintendent and the deputy. That was he was just such a jerk too. It was just basically telling him off and saying that he's a necessary gnat and so is Soapy.
You're both
He's
necessary
You're both
gnats.
necessary gnats
Shut up.
and basically telling him like you've read the Bible. Abide. I was like
I know,
I was like
abide.
you. Asshole.
Yeah.
Tell him to abide.
Another piece of.
Yes.
And then makes him free Soapy.
Yeah. Makes him. Yeah.
Oh, and that made me mad too when they arrested Soapy, and Soapy's like, I'm a bigger man than you.
Yeah.
You'll see.
Yeah. It's like, I didn't hate Sophie before. I just thought he was kind of like an annoying,
He
like.
is super annoying. I would have punched everybody in the face.
Yeah, I know, right?
I would have been Melinda. I would have been the killer if I lived over there.
You'd have been like, good thing I got a gun.
Yeah. And a thumb.
Soapy's
Oh.
Two working thumbs.
And not a bent up, messed up index finger.
like a Native American man.
Right.
Man, like a lot of these people.
And as a
Just,
Native American. I'm sorry.
Everything.
I think I'm funny now.
you got everything. I never said that was funny. I just think I'm not funny. So, but speaking of horrible people, we get the great scene with the Count where his men finally thinking we're not getting paid enough, and one of them going down and confronting him, and the Count, no qualms about
No,
it. Just
man.
right into the guy, just stabbing
With the
him.
butter knife
Yeah,
that he
with
was
the
just
butter
complaining
knife.
about. He's like, they gave me a butter knife to eat this chicken.
He stabbed the guy 16 times.
You counted?
I counted.
You like slowed.
I counted.
You really enjoy that. You brutal man.
Yes, he is.
I'm a weirdo.
That's a lot.
He's
Well,
like, I gotta
they
get the-
even cut to like behind him for a second, but I listened to the stab noise to count the stabs.
Wow.
Tallies like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm ready for this.
I was just like, why is he stabbing him so much? Wouldn't like 3 times be enough?
He just
Because
wants to
it's
figure
not
it's a butter knife.
It's a
You gotta make
butter knife.
sure.
Yeah, exactly. Butter knife. You got to be sure.
The first 4 probably didn't even penetrate the skin yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
right.
was like, how's
Well-
this even getting through?
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a lot. He was a
I
really
don't know if
angry man
could
to
you
do that.
stab
A lot
someone
of
with a butter
force.
knife now? Probably not.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Sure you
Let's
can.
go test this out.
All right,
do it.
we'll be right
Okay.
back.
We'll see if the butter knife
Yeah,
works.
we'll be right back.
I'll
You'll
film it,
see.
y'all.
Yeah. We'll see which one of us comes back of the 3 when we test it.
Right. It would be you.
It would be me.
It would be you. No, but I thought again, it's like, yeah, right in front of everybody. That's the crazy thing about that time period too. It was like, okay,
Well, it's
It
funny
was
that
the
they're
middle
like,
murder
of the
someone in
chicken wing
front
out
of everybody in the middle of the restaurant and you're in the saloon, and
but
you
it's
don't
just
have to worry.
funny to me because like now the law's there and they're really trying to find
Right.
the murderer of Byron, but then this happens and everyone's like, well, let's just ignore
That's
this. and
because they're like,
pretend it
serves
didn't
him
happen.
right.
Yeah.
All right. Can I get my tea, please?
I mean, I guess like the people who immediately saw it though were still his hired men.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why. So I
Or
was kinda thinking that
scared
could be the
bar
case.
patrons.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, they're all going to be scared. That's because they all got up and kind of got out of the way.
Yeah. But we come back to commercial with the most important scene of all, which is Meeker getting his orange.
Oh, yeah.
And that's how the show wraps up. Is on a good note.
Well,
Meeker
that's
gets
it.
his orange, and that's it. So we will see you guys
All right,
next
see you
later. But yeah, so Bill gets Rob brings back this orange for Meeker, which is great, and this is where they kind of have this conversation where Bill's implying that he's leaving to go shoot Goodman,
Goodman,
and
yeah.
talking about his innocence being gone, and he doesn't want Meeker to be any part of it because Meeker hasn't lost this part of himself yet, this innocence that he
Right.
has. So, trying to look out for Meeker and realizing what he himself has lost from being out in the Yukon and how the Yukon has kind of turned him.
Yeah.
It's
And-
crazy.
and-
It's crazy how everyone is constantly thinking about their mind, like how they're thinking and what they're thinking in their innocence and civilization. They're not. Some of them are not really just living. They're just constantly thinking what's like psychologically happening to them. That's frustrating and exhausting because that conversation comes up how many times?
Right.
In all 3 episodes.
Right.
It's the theme of the show.
It is the theme of the show is how your mind gets effed.
Yeah. In the Yukon specifically.
In the
Yes.
Yukon.
Yeah.
Not in the wilderness, just in the Yukon.
Right.
So if you're going to go live in the wilderness, go live anywhere but the Yukon.
But there.
Because it'll make you crazy and angry.
Yeah.
And want to kill someone.
Especially if you keep digging in for dirt. So Bill actually goes and walks into Goodman's house and finds all the evidence. So there's the bullets and there's the
Guns under the floorboard
And I was
there.
kind of thinking, like, why didn't he just go to the Mounties? Because they were clearly looking for this killer, and he could have been like, I suspect it's him.
Yeah.
This is why. Let's go into his house. Or something to that extent.
He needed to take
I think
things
he needed to do it on his own. Yeah.
in his own hands to seek revenge for his best friend.
He's letting the Yukon get to him, damn it.
Yes. He let it get to him.
He
Yeah.
shouldn't be doing this.
So he sized up the caliber of the ammo, and then he found the gun in the floorboard.
And then, of course,
OMG.
conveniently, then Goodman walks in
Oh.
right when he's there. Yep.
Yeah.
And then
pulls the pistol on him.
Yeah.
And then craziness ensues.
Oh yeah.
Fire.
And
That
there
was
was
cool.
fire.
Yeah. And then there was fire.
He should have
So
shot him right
awesomely.
there.
He did.
Because I always
know.
hate when people just hold the gun like, I'm going
Right.
to shoot you. Here, get real close so
Right.
you can knock the gun out of my hand.
And
oh,
then,
no.
oops.
Yeah, I was thinking that too. I was just like, why did he just shoot him?
Yeah. You have to add this to the drama.
It's a suspense, yes,
Right.
of course.
You got to start the fire.
And he didn't really
let him
want-
escape.
To get the Yukon, let the Yukon get to him.
Yeah, he was like, this time I'm not going to kill him myself. It's the fire that will kill him. Not me.
And then it'll look like he had nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
You know what? I don't think we ever saw the guy who initially seemed like was going to be, who's the Red Baron for killing Byron. The guy who Byron's slept with his wife.
Oh, yeah.
Or girlfriend.
The
Not
girlfriend.
wife, the girlfriend.
The
I
prostitute
don't think we ever
girlfriend.
saw
Yeah.
that guy again. I don't know. This just made me think of that.
It was.
Yes,
I
he
know,
was.
but it's funny, prostitute
Prostitute girlfriend.
Jeez.
Well, I mean, he had to even pay for her.
The
Spy type of
entrepreneurial
you don't wanna
girlfriend.
have.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, entrepreneurial
So the
girlfriend.
prostitute's regular then.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
It really is just a regular because
It's
he was
just a
paying
regular,
too.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
it's just
right.
like,
It's a
yeah,
regular.
Yeah.
not a very smart guy. But I was just thinking, it's interesting we never saw that guy come
That's
up
true.
again. So Bill goes to chase after Goodman, and the hired guns at this point have noticed because of the Count having a plan that hey, let's go, just basically take all of
Yep.
Bill's money.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Well,
we'll
they
give it to
they
you.
chase him out in the woods first.
Yeah, which was interesting because going back towards the beginning, I actually wrote a note down. I'm like, gosh, you would think there'd just be more gold theft around there because it just feels like it
Yeah.
would be hard to keep track and know
Yeah.
who's what's what. And then later on, of course, then the Count decides to go after him. I'm like,
And when
okay.
it's just left out all the time.
Well, that's what you're thinking. You're like,
Yeah.
you
And
know,
no
once you
locks.
seal it,
Look at the doors and tents.
right? And there's
Yeah.
like safe. You know, it's like it would be so easy for people to steal it. So I actually had written a note about that at the beginning of the episode, and then sure enough, the
So I
Count's
guess
men were
the
after him.
Count's game plan was just to follow Bill out into the woods by himself and kill him, and then roll back into
Well, he
town.
was
and
with
take
his
gold.
crew.
He was, yeah,
Yeah.
he wanted to take his crew out and then see if they could, wait until they could either get him or get his
Why
gold
didn't he
first.
like just go? He's out there. We'll go get his gold.
Yeah.
When he comes back, we'll kill him.
Yeah, that's what I would have thought. It would have been a lot easier, right?
Yeah, right.
Don't go out in the weather and
I'm not going out there.
Yeah,
they're
I'd be like,
bored.
how about you guys take care of it? I'll
Yeah.
stay back.
Yeah.
Which you should have done. And then, well, yeah, you just should have done it in the end. So, the superintendent is talking with the Native Americans, and they're kind of like having this nice conversation. So, basically, the child saying that he's going to name his born
Freedom.
Freedom
Freedom.
for America. America.
America.
America, yeah.
America.
For Canada.
Yeah, Canada.
That's right.
I wonder-
That's in Canada.
Well, but this ended up becoming Alaska, though,
No,
eventually.
it is, yeah.
So,
I don't know if this part did it? 'Cause I
No.
thought this was part of the Yukon of
It's
the
part of the Yukon, and the
territory.
gnome is in Alaska.
Yes, the later when they go to Alaska, but this is actually Yukon
So
territory.
this is still
That's why
okay.
they had the Mounties.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Okay.
well, I
Yep.
just thought it was like kind of like it hadn't been decided yet for some
Oh.
reason. Which thought,
And later when she says, if I go back to the States,
Yeah.
I was just assuming still, because that's what like Hawaii and Alaska still calls
Yeah.
the States.
Yeah.
yeah,
The lower 48.
yeah, I was thinking the main part of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, kind of like this moment here where again it's kind of like you just feel bad. Like it does feel like he's going to free the Tlingits, and he actually goes, which was the native. I think that was the tribe name for the
Yeah.
Native Americans there.
It was. Mm-hmm.
So he actually goes to Cavendish and says that he's not doing it anymore. He's not going to be a party to murder.
I'm not going to be a party to murder.
Stands up for himself.
While
Also saying
He's
bathhouses
in-
are not very private.
right,
Yeah.
while he's in the
I know,
bathtub smoking a cigar.
The
It
only
looked,
way
like
to
a
be.
little, it looked like a little joint. Kidding, that's not there.
It could have been. Who
It could have
knows?
been.
It was a huge cigar.
That was just a really big joint. He was really having a good
You
time.
got to make it last for a long time.
Exactly.
to wait till next spring for them to bring the next shipment.
Right?
They're just gonna have a really big one. And yeah. So the Native Americans come after this moment, and they actually start shedding blood. And I was just thinking, like, man, bad timing on the superintendent's part on telling Cavendish at that moment. I didn't
Right.
think it was gonna end the way it did. With,
Yeah.
I thought it'd be like Cavendish wouldn't forgive him for deciding he wasn't going to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
And then it just resulted with more.
yep.
Well, right. If they would have just waited a little bit longer, he
Yeah.
probably would have let him go, and things would have been fine. But
Yeah.
But we knew that was in the works, though, because even
Yeah.
the end of the second episode, they were all planning and plotting, and rightfully so. They're thinking they're innocent.
right. Hey, they were doing it to save
Members
their
were going to
people.
be, yeah. So it makes sense.
Yeah, but-
Just bad timing, of course.
Right.
Worst possible timing.
We come back to Soapy Soaps.
Soap is
Soap is soap.
Walking
in the
through
pub.
the street.
In the pub
Oh, yeah,
first.
yeah, in the
Yeah.
pub.
He's doing what he does, buying out another person's plot of land, and you can tell the guy's just not having it. And the guy wishes him better fortune, and Soaps just spits on fortune.
Oh yeah, it's not fortune.
Right.
So obviously he's gonna have something coming to him. I thought something was definitely gonna come to him. I just didn't realize it was gonna be that soon.
Yeah, that was quick.
I was just like writing in my notes like this is gonna be a big foreshadow, and it wasn't so much of a foreshadow.
It was like, okay,
It
next
was
scene.
happening right away.
Yeah.
Next scene, immediately take it out.
Walks out of the pub, starts walking down the street, and then gets stabbed.
That,
Right in the
he had it
chest.
coming. That's probably, you see, I'm just
Yep.
one of those townspeople.
Yep.
He had it coming. That's
right.
so.
Yeah, I was thinking like on what you were saying before, Scott, with why wasn't there more theft going on? Maybe people are just better than. Maybe people are just kind of good at heart for the most part.
Yeah.
And I mean, like you buy respective plots, and everyone's who's there is like, well, I don't want someone stealing my gold.
Right, it's,
So
it's
maybe
like
they were
kind of
somewhat.
treat those how you want to be treated.
Na-
Kind of a thing.
neighborhood
and the
watch.
karma,
Yeah.
since
Right.
they kept talking about karma and
Yes,
everything.
the Klondike karma.
Yeah,
What
but yeah,
comes around goes around.
I do think it was probably like because I mean Bill had his friends too who were
Right.
like helping him, so I do think of it as probably like a neighborhood watch
Yeah.
type of thing where everyone's like, well, I wouldn't want someone stealing my gold,
Right.
so I'll
Right.
make sure if I protect this guy, like
They'll
everyone's
have
gonna
my
protect each
back.
other. Right.
when- Yeah.
So that's kind of what I would imagine.
There is some good in the world.
Yeah, because otherwise someone would just come in and just shoot everybody and be like,
Yeah.
oh my gold.
Yeah.
Be a more brutal version of the Count.
Yeah.
Be the Count Chocula.
Count.
It would
Chocolate.
maybe
He's
just be
brutal.
boring. There'd be nothing to do.
But he is delicious.
And then he would use his money to create a breakfast cereal. And see, I just keep going with them.
You
That's
do.
like his delicious cereal.
It all comes back.
Right, so Bill Haskell taking the dog sled is what we get to. Oh, but before that, sorry, to end this scene off, we have Superintendent actually shooting and killing one of the Native Americans, and he is pissed.
Yeah.
So you turn on the rage mode of Superintendent, and he's
Yeah,
just...
now he's
'cause,
making him look bad.
What? Two Mounties got shot.
Yeah.
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 And that's
Which
true.
sucks too, because then that switched everything up. Because I feel
Right.
like the superintendent was like becoming like normal and just he triumphed everything, but no. Then,
Spoke up for himself.
Right.
And like, yeah, he's making
yeah.
progress here.
And then someone got shot. And he's like, "Oh, psych! We're about to hang one of y'all."
Yeah. But I guess in all fairness, they did shoot two innocent Mounties.
Right.
So, not that they didn't have reason to, but nothing had happened yet.
Right.
So, but yeah, and then there's that whole speech about like actions speak louder than words that we got in the beginning. So they're finally doing their actions. So speaking of these actions speak louder than words, Bill on the dog sled heading to Goodman, doing his action of trying to find Goodman, and just starts screaming at Goodman. And all I was thinking was like, you realize you're screaming at a sharpshooter,
right.
Right.
Where you're
Here I
at.
am,
Yeah.
out in the open.
That's what I was thinking too. Or like he's gonna really say anything. Oh yeah, I'm right over
Yeah.
here.
yeah.
Like, come here, come and get me,
Hey, what about? I mean, the doggies.
Marco,
were, like
Yeah.
barking. Like,
Polo,
yeah.
Marco.
That was. Yeah.
It was so
He's
bizarre.
like, he's not gonna shoot me right away
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
I'm going for it.
Yeah, now that we're in the middle of nowhere.
Right. He'll wait till I get
How'd
there.
you guys think he looked riding that dog sled? Pretty cool.
Oh, he looks hot.
I say that because I
don't know.
It was
watched
like
an interview with him,
photo-
Yeah.
and he on his days off would go dog sled riding.
really?
So that he could look like really good at it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he wanted to look like professional at dog sledding, so he was like practicing on his days off.
Oh, he
kinda
reminded me of Paul Walker in his Snow Dog movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, sorry. Rest in peace. Love you,
Oh.
Paul.
I was just thinking like,
He does it. It was the same thing. You know,
Yeah.
like Cuba Gooding Jr. No.
No, I do. No.
I don't. I'm not calling
Whatever.
it.
It's a great movie. Next.
What's it called?
Snow Dog or Snow something.
Snow something.
Whatever.
that's it. Yeah.
Anyways.
Coming soon.
No, I was
Sorry,
kind of
y'all.
just thinking like, it made me wonder, and I'm just really curious, like, who actually came up with the idea of doing the dog sled thing? I know there's not an answer that we have. I was just curious.
But it was also in the last minute. I'm like, when did that transportation
like,
happen?
yeah, just like who like decide like realized that was a like way to do things. That's all I'm
And
curious.
where did the
up there?
doggies come from?
back,
yeah.
like back then.
Huskies.
Yeah,
Who was the
Well, they
first
were
person
from
to
up
slap
there.
some
How
dogs
did
on
you
a...
found them?
Like
Well,
I
I
bet
was
if we,
thinking of
I bet if
horses.
we, well, horses like you can ride on top
yeah.
of. Like who decided
And I feel
like,
like you start with horses and you try to get them over. Actually, no, you're right.
I think it's the
It was
the
this guy
Huskies that
who
were from
had,
there.
he had a pack
Yeah.
of dogs, and he had his sled, and he
he
tied
said
them to the
this is
sled
what
so
I
that
do.
they wouldn't run away.
or he was just tying them like one on a rope and was pulling. He's like,
And they
this is
start
fun.
going,
Like,
like,
oh, I
wait.
like that from there.
If I put 6 of them together, they can pull the sled.
And that's how it was invented.
But you can only go as fast as they can run.
Dog
It's
power.
interesting. There was that. Yeah, the dog sled movie was good. I know. I'm just like, it really just like can't hit me. I'm like, that was a good movie.
I never saw it. But
So
yeah, I mean, the whole dog thing was a big deal because they drew the Iditarod up in Alaska. So obviously, it was something that they found up there as a mode of transportation. The Huskies are from up there, so
I just saw that movie a really long time ago. I'm still on the movie. Sorry. It was a long time ago as a kid. All right, let's move on to the show.
All right.
So, anyways, Bill Haskell taking the dog sled, and now we have Belinda finding out what's going on. And after she sees all the dead bodies, and she finds out that it wasn't, she assumes that was the Count's doing, and it wasn't. Oh no, he must be after Bill. So,
Well, then they said somebody said to
It was
her,
that-
right,
it was
that-
her,
was
like,
the
right
girl.
Yeah,
there.
it was, yeah. What did the Count do to
yeah.
her? Did he shove his hand up?
Yes.
Her.
Yeah.
Yes, he did.
Oh my God, that was so rude.
I know. It was like, ugh.
What was the point of that?
Just to like show that he was
Power.
Mr. Power. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
all the power and just to be a
She
jerk.
was-
And awfulness.
Oh
Wait,
my
he did?
gosh.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
was like, I wasn't sure. I didn't
Yeah.
know why he grabbed her, especially because he started with that blood talk and then lifts her dress and just like holds her in.
Yeah, and you can see
Bye.
the
You
can see, I'm
forceful
like,
movement there. So,
Somehow I didn't catch that either.
Yeah.
well,
Well, because it was awkward. He was down there, and then the only reason why I knew it was more private was because of the guard that came in. He kind of put his head down because it was like awkward. She had to stand there like with this guy's
Yeah, it
hands
was.
in her
It was
vagina.
like,
Oh my
ugh.
God.
Yeah, him just being a jerk, you know, showing off the power there. So she was the one that said that, right?
She
That-
did. She
Yes,
said
and
that
she
no, they're
told-
going to go get Bill.
They're gonna-
Haskell.
yeah, they're going to get Bill.
Yeah, Bill.
Well, I was taking notes. That's why I didn't notice.
Well, he's an awful man.
I see, honestly, something I wouldn't even have thought of, and I guess that's why I didn't like. It didn't even like cross my mind as that's something someone would do. So
Well, it wasn't odd.
Well, it wasn't-
It was odd. You know,
Count's
as it
very
saves his
odd in
power.
everything he does.
Yeah.
Thing is, the Count's he's
Oh my
so
God.
odd in everything he does.
He did that in that movie. Tim Roth was in the movie with Liam
From another
Neeson.
movie.
Uh-oh, so then he just likes
He did the
Just like
same
so-
thing. I just
Really?
remembered that because I was like, why did that seem so familiar?
creepy.
Rob Roy. Anybody seen Rob Roy?
What if he was the one who suggested it in
Exactly.
both movies?
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's what I'm thinking. No, that's
What a
absolutely
creepy
what
guy.
happened.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was just a throwback to Rob Roy.
He's like, I got this
No.
really good idea that I really want to do.
I think
I
that.
like to
Oh my
Put
God.
my hand up.
You know
I
how
think he says he's like, no, it'll just show.
It'll really make me
show
look
my-
evil.
Yeah.
Just
my-
trust me, it'll show a power
Yeah.
thing.
Control.
Just trust me on this one. It'll
Back
be
in the
real,
day,
play
that's
really
how
well.
they grabbed women. Right by the cooler.
Exactly. It's a power play move. People did all the time. Just trust me on this one.
It's like,
Yeah,
it's like
yeah,
a hand
yeah.
rape.
Trust me,
Well,
I've done
you know,
this
at
before.
least he had washed his hands right before he did it. So
That's true.
That's true.
That is true. You had to
Hopefully
wash the
there
blood
wasn't-
off.
Hopefully there wasn't any blood still on his hands that hadn't quite gotten off. But
Let's move on.
Yeah, that's- we
Make
can't.
you a
We
little
can't.
more
Yeah, I
uncomfortable.
can't just get any. Yeah.
so then the superintendent starts chasing the Mounties into the forest, and they keep on going forward. So there's this big moment where they all start ending up in the same place eventually. But first we have the Count making it to Bill, and gonna take all of his dogs and just leave him in the wilderness for him to just die.
I'm surprised how long that scene
No.
took too.
I'm
With
also
everyone
surprised.
around him that he wouldn't
Yeah.
just get there and again
Right.
talking and
Well, also,
makes
like-
the other guy shoot him. What was the?
And also, as
Yeah.
Bill, I was surprised Bill, like, that the Count's gonna, like, do something to kill you in some
Yeah,
way.
but it was Bill with. He would have gotten one shot on one person. The other three
Right.
would have gotten
I'd still
him.
be like, well, if I'm going out, I'm taking the Count with me. Like, that would be my thought process. Because,
Would have
like,
been right away.
Yeah, they should have just killed him right there.
he should have been like Clint Eastwood.
But I think they wanted to torture him.
Well, yeah.
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 It's also, like, not as much blood on the Count's hand, because he already had blood on his hands, and he just got done washing it
Yeah.
off.
Literally.
Jerseys.
Blood on
Metaphorically
his
and
hands,
physically.
yes.
So, the
So
men,
none of
though-
that happens, and then the Count gets shot.
Right, so the Count...
Sorry.
But the Count's men just completely betray him,
Yeah.
leave him there, and he shoots his
They
men.
didn't shoot him. They just knocked him in the
Which
back.
was, I thought, a great.
No, I shouldn't.
It was
No.
great. It was a
They
great
just
moment.
knocked him. He
They
would've
Oh,
been-
they did
did.
just knock him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right. Well, no,
Oh, that
what I
was-
meant to say, and then they leave when I don't know why, and then the Count shoots them.
Right.
Yeah. The other guy.
That was good.
That was a really weird
Because he
scene
said,
for me.
I feel bad for you.
It was a weird scene, but I thought it was really good because, earlier, which we kind of talked about with the whole thing with Belinda, and then, he was basically like, oh, Sundown was like, you could pay me off, basically, and I'll kill him and I'll get him out of the way. So it was sort of like that great moment where they sort of were like, we've had it with the Count. And
Oh, yeah.
It was a
This guy
perfect way to,
sucks.
like, just leave him out in the wilderness
Well, what
like
a
that.
corny guy who did nothing up there. Like, at least Soapy Soaps was like collecting claims and stuff, but
Oh, the Count was just an evil man.
he was
He
just
was
a bully.
a
Like, what
tyrant.
are you
He was a
doing up
bully
here?
and
Get out of
just-
here.
he
No
was
one
buying
likes
up
you.
real
He was
estate.
buying up the real estate.
He's the
That
real
was his
estate
way of getting
baron.
the power.
But not
and-
really, because he didn't even have money. He
No.
was just a dummy.
Well, it's as Jack London said in the very first episode. He was the who was he was comparing to the idiot. in
Oh,
the
yeah.
first
The,
episode.
yeah.
I think I
remember
still have
the
the notes
exact
here.
quote.
Something with the dumb shits and the...
Yeah, like the dumb shits become like kings, and the kings become dumb
Yes.
shits.
Ah,
Yeah.
that was the
I have
line
it
we
here.
all talked about and everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so...
Oh my God, it just dawned on me. It was not Tim Roth who did that in Rob Roy. It was the guy that worked for Tim Roth. So he probably saw
he
it
did
and was
see
like,
it.
I
And
want to
said,
do that.
I'm going to do that now, too. That was a
There it
great
is.
move.
Or Tim Roth told him, like, you should do this because I can't in this movie.
But I'll do
Yeah.
it
But I'll
later.
do it in another show or movie. We just need to go on a Tim Roth hunt and start
Here's-
watching every movie he's in,
Yeah,
show he's in, and be
and
like, what if he
figure it
does
out.
it? And like every so
Every
often.
movie.
And I just want to apologize on behalf of all of us for putting you on blast like that, but we know what you're doing, buddy.
How about that, Tim Roth? Oh, snap.
Oh, here's a quote. Jack London says in the first episode, he's like, the Yukon's the only place in the world where dumb shit can be a king and a king a dumb shit.
A king, a dumb shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there we go.
Yep.
Honestly, a lot of his things, I just didn't understand his motivation for doing it. Like the power play with the girl in this episode. I was like, I don't get why he did that. There was no reasoning to it behind it. Like I get a lot of the things he did. But
I just feel like they should have done something on her behalf where she would have provoked him, but she didn't. She was there just like I thought that was gonna be a sweet little scene. Can you get blood out of everything except for silk?
yeah. It's so random.
Nothing
he's
sweet
just-
with the count.
A crazy evil man.
Yeah.
There's no rhyme or reason. He's just...
I need I need 3 dimensions.
I need
here.
I do.
bad.
I need reasons too.
Some people
Whatever.
just-
He's very. I feel like he's very 2-dimensional in a lot of ways. So
Yeah.
I was like, "Where's this 3rd dimension?"
Well, I think
mean-
that's part of the problem too. I mean, the fact that this was such a short miniseries that we couldn't, like I was talking about Belinda earlier, you can't
Yeah.
get all the backstories because you want to know like why are these people
Well-
motivated to do what they do, and like why is the Count just this evil
Yeah.
jerky asshole? Like what was the reasons why he became that way?
Because he came from London, everyone
Well,
from England.
I know,
was
but
jerk.
we also didn't have like too much time to settle, like not identify, but just kind of attach yourself to the characters
Yeah.
and whatnot because we had 2 hours. It was,
Right.
like, every week.
and
That
it's
was
so
it.
much to move forward with the story that
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
going on.
He does
too.
give us a little of that because in that next scene when they're out there walking along the ice now that they've been stranded because they took the dog sleds, the Count's following Bill as he's
Right.
just walking and he's like, wait, why are we going this way? Dawson's back this way. And Bill said, the forest is over here. That's going to give us good cover and we'll, get out
from
of the
the wind.
wind and the snow. And the Count says, well, I'm going to go this way or whatever.
Right.
And Bill says, I don't want to see any man die. I don't like seeing, no matter who they are, I don't like them to die. And that's when the Count says, a few more right turns
Yeah,
and I could have been you.
Yeah,
So
But that was
that was a little...
but not enough to really explain
Right.
like where it is. But I did like that moment, and then I was like, all right, the Klondike
So it's just-
karma's coming
yeah,
to get him
that's a good
now.
moment.
So it's kind of just
Obviously.
like he took the easy evil path instead of the tough good path.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess it was.
It is
evil.
easier to be bad than it is to be good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
It
Good
is.
point.
That's,
Oh
I mean,
my
that's
gosh.
why I do it. That's why I'm evil.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
That's
it's a
why I
lot
said
easier.
about
That's
this
why
far
I'm an
away.
evil
That's why I'm
overlord.
good.
So much more work, though.
Yeah. No more. Who has
Well,
time for
that's
that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
No.
hard
Kidding.
work for sure. I'm never being good again. Way too much work. So, speaking of which, I'm done. I'm just walking out. You guys can finish this without me because I'm not being good anymore. So they do end up splitting up. And as you mentioned, and we come back from commercial as
foreshadow.
Bill, they both collapse completely, and the Count can't start a fire. And Bill just can't make it to the forest away from the trees in time, so collapses. And you guys come back with his thoughts, which is about how don't freeze to death if you can help it. It's the thoughts that hurt the most. That's what he's saying, because he's just thinking about everything he didn't get to do.
Yeah.
And really, like, the revenge on Byron, still one of those big primary things that he
Right.
really
Right.
wanted to do.
And also just that whole
And getting there, being there.
right, and dying of freezing is probably absolutely torturous because you're basically like encased in your body and you're still thinking, but you can't do anything. I mean, it's got to be absolutely
warm
awful,
Yeah.
an awful
Well,
way to
it's
go.
just the worst. Like when you're, you graduated. They were young, attractive, and
Carefree,
Teeth are going.
whole
except
life
for
ahead of
Bill's.
them.
whole life ahead of
But
them.
they're $750.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
his buddy died, and then he
Yeah.
doesn't have his gold, and he's like, "What? Wait, why did I do this again?"
All this for
And
this?
the girl he likes is like, I don't want to have this, like,
Yeah,
that's just
and
a
she's
hookup
too busy
thing.
trying to like kill people and like be tough.
She's like, I'm too tough to have a man in my life.
Who needs that back in the day?
Nah, definitely not.
He needed a woman.
He needs a good laundry mate. What did she call
Yeah,
it? A laundry
A housekeeper?
A
housekeeper or laundry.
Which
Something
I guess is
lingerie.
what she ended up doing.
Right.
Once we
Yeah.
learn later, that's
Right.
what happened down the line for her.
Skip it to the end.
And she could have done it
I
with
know.
Bill.
That's what she became.
But in this scene, though, after this last week, the Mounties are now chasing in this direction, a Native American, and shoot him down, this other one. And Bill just can't shout or do anything to catch their attention.
It
'Cause he's
was
just so
Jack
far
Dawson.
it was
Oh,
so weak.
funny, because Dawson City was Jack Dawson all over again. Or not Jack Dawson, Rose. Rose, come back.
Oh yeah, I was like, what? Jack Dawson? Okay. Yeah, I get it.
Rose, I meant to say Rose.
Yeah.
You remember, guys? Titanic?
Yeah. Oh, we just bring up all these movie
Wow,
references now.
today's
know.
movie day.
Yeah.
Yeah, he couldn't scream. His voice was a little hoarse.
Yeah. Well, he was out there
Yeah.
dying. I mean, so
And Frozen.
and frozen there. I know. I love how
Like
they like every time he's
Rose.
frozen, like his beard was all frozen. Like, okay, he's
Oh,
cold.
I read a funny interview about that. He said like he would be laying in the snow so much, and sometimes he would get up and he'd have a bunch of snow in his beard, and they would actually come and knock some of it out, and he'd be like, "But this is real, like this is real snow,"
Yeah.
and then they would put fake snow on him.
Oh, that's
Really?
so funny. Yeah.
This doesn't make any
That's silly.
sense.
That's
know.
really silly. Movie magic.
Yeah.
Right.
Has to be the right looking.
That's right. The
Right.
right looking
Well,
snow,
you know,
because the
that's
real snow's
actually-
gonna look fake.
Yes, that's funny because I remember shooting something once and they were using, I think it was my place, and they messed it up to make it look real. I'm like, but everything's, I don't like it messed up. It's organized for a reason. And they're like, no, but no one's going to believe it. I'm like, okay, well, go ahead. Thanks.
Mess it up.
That's so
messy.
fake. Nobody lives
Yeah,
like
nobody
that.
lives like that.
I was like, what do you...
Nobody lives in a clean apartment.
No, it's
Who are
always
you?
messy.
Yeah, it was just so funny, but I did it like how it normally was,
Right.
and then, nope.
I guess it just depends on the actual character in the show.
Well, that's everything. No one is allowed to have anything, or like snow can't even be on your face regularly.
Unless it's
Oh.
fake snow.
Yeah, that's
unless
right.
it's
Well, maybe it's
fake
because when they
snow.
cut back to another shot, they can't
They
look
can't see his face
different.
and whatnot. Yeah.
Well, can't
whatever.
look different because maybe the snow is in a different spot now. So,
Yeah.
but it's those continuity experts.
Right. They're gonna make sure it looks just right.
Yeah.
The fake snow looks real. But then they, I did like that part where he, grabbed the jacket off the
dead body.
Yeah, which I thought, okay, you're in a desperate situation.
Yeah.
You can do that.
And after
Why not?
complaining about taking things from dead bodies, God,
Well,
Yeah.
and that guy hadn't been dead very long, so the first thing I thought was, cuddle it.
Yeah.
Get
so
some
it
warmth.
got warm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
well,
did.
that's what I
Yeah.
thought about the jacket too. It was like extra warm.
Yeah.
Shit, I would have just laid on top of the
I
entire
was just
body.
thinking,
Like,
like, treat him like he's a bantha and cut open a hole in him. This is a Star Wars reference.
Oh.
Cut open a hole in him and just like get inside his
Get
body.
inside.
and
Who
let
does
inside
that?
him.
Yeah.
ew.
Curl up.
That happens in Star Wars?
Well, the
He
bantha was
thought
a
he
monster
smelled
creature
bad
thing,
on the
so
outside.
Oh, okay.
it was like a big creature thing that they cut open to stay inside to keep warm.
Yeah. They sleep in his guts.
If we're making movie references,
Yeah,
Right, you
Yeah.
might as well
Why not?
just keep going with it.
so yeah, so he does take the clothes, and then Belinda actually finds him. So Belinda gets to him and wants to take him
conveniently.
back immediately. Yeah, I was thinking that too. I was like,
Jeez.
how convenient is that she happened to go to the exact
All the
right place?
space.
Especially when he decided to stop moving.
Well, she probably followed the dog tracks. There was a ton of them going the same way.
Well, yeah, but I still thought
I
it
guess
was
the Mountie tracks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One last perfect save with good timing.
Yeah.
Scott always says that, like, just enough time
Just
to get
enough
saved.
time
They're
that
always
he's-
quick.
Well, just
Still
like with Father
alive.
Judge and the Wolf.
Yes.
Bill's gotten lucky a lot of times with those
Yes.
like last minute saves.
Oh, yeah.
She gets him back into town, and I love that whole scene too with the bath.
loved
It's like get the
it.
tea kettles, pour all the tea
Yeah.
in there, everything.
Everything that's hot.
I also like
He's
how
dying.
Move.
I also like how the girls were looking at her really weirdly, like
Why are you on
Why are
him
you on
right
top of
now?
him?
She was laying on top of him.
I know. And
I think it was more like, we're about to pour boiling water on you. Are you cool with that?
I was kind of thinking it was just like they'd never seen Belinda like that, like with someone.
Oh, maybe that too.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I thought. It was
Yeah.
more of seeing her in that situation.
thought of it
I just thought it was gonna
romantic
hurt.
sense.
Yeah.
She was so vulnerable also.
Yeah.
Was it known? Yeah, because it was the cold, right? Everyone knew that to put the bodies together it would create more warmth, right? It wasn't
sure.
like, okay.
I thought assume you
Although
know
I
that.
did,
Because what if they were looking like, what is she doing? Why is she?
Well,
in the
no, I
tub with
think they
him?
thought. I was thinking what you were saying, Dave. Like they were thinking, oh, like this moment, like she's
Yeah, well, I was thinking like, yeah,
Vulnerable,
she's
yeah.
vulnerable.
close
She
to
must
him,
really care
for
about
this
him.
guy because she's going crazy. Like bring
And
the
she's
tea.
there like
bring-
rubbing his face, like
Right.
she doesn't make this movement, like.
Although
That's how you keep people really warm. It's like
Yeah. Stroke their face.
That's it. Right there.
Oh, my face is so hot. But although you have to, I think when you're like have frostbite or you're really cold, you're actually supposed to start with cold water first
because the temperature changes too much.
It's too much.
Yeah, it'll like attack you.
So
or
I was
something.
like, wait, they're taking this like frostbitten frozen dude and putting him in boiling water.
I'm sure it wasn't like super hot. So
No,
they
it couldn't have
started
been
with
super
regular,
hot.
and then they
Started with regular.
The other kettles were just sitting
Right,
there.
so it wasn't going to be boiling hot.
But they did, and the steam was going to rise anyways because of how cold he was.
Mm-hmm. So. But that was the other thing I found interesting that I thought was a really good detail about them was the fact that they made you realize how cold the inside of the buildings were all the time when people had, you could see their breath. Because it's true, there was no insulation back then. There's no like heat. So I really like that.
Yeah, where I live is cold.
But I thought that was good because that's a detail that they could have very easily overlooked, and they made sure they put that detail in there. And I did notice that throughout, that was a really good detail.
Yeah, that'd be awful. I mean, there's even days in like LA where it's like 40 out. I'm like, glad to be outside. I'm like, thank God for the heat.
Right,
the heat. 40 degree
Exactly.
Where it's so cold out.
Yeah, and there they didn't have any of that. So I did love the fact that they made sure they put that moment and that detail in there because that's important.
Yeah,
I loved that.
I can't even imagine. I was back in Chicago this winter, and it was like 9 degrees out, and even colder with the wind chill. And like, I was outside for like an hour, and I was so cold. And we went inside a heated building for like 5 minutes. I was just like, "This is the best thing in the world."
Right?
I can't imagine not having that.
Right, like back then, it's crazy. But I love when he's resting by the fire, and we're totally wimps now today. Like that's what you're saying here in LA, like
LA
they're out in the rugged.
Wimp.
They're out there. But she grabs the gun. She goes after Goodman.
Oh, that's right. After Bill wakes up.
Yeah,
That's
so he's
when
by
he
the
sees that
fire.
killer look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he sees it in
He
her.
sees it in her now, which I thought was great.
Now she's got the killer look.
Yeah, so she has the killer look, and we get this amazing commercial from Booking.com. I actually watched that one. I thought it was kind of funny, randomly. Anyways, I DVR'd it. So
I missed that one.
Me too.
it's just one of those like random internet humor ones.
Oh.
So,
I just loved all the Geico Gold Rush ones.
yeah, it's funny
was
that they're actually
perfect.
like changing it for it.
Yeah.
So Belinda, so after this, yeah, she has that look where now she has the killer look, and they immediately start storming out as she finds out this info from her right-hand man, and it turns out that they have found the location of Goodman.
Yay.
So, and there was a firefight. That's Boondock Saints reference.
Movies all night long.
So
That was a fake laugh.
It was.
Sorry.
Wow.
So
It was a good fake laugh.
Bill ends up going and, or I should say they have this big
corner him,
firefight,
yeah.
and they corner him, and he loses his gun as Bill runs forward, and he kind of locks himself in prison. So I
Yeah.
kind of thought it was just going to end with him being in prison. That was going to be the end of it.
No.
But his gun's right
You
there.
knew that.
Yeah.
No, you knew that.
Oh,
he was-
yeah.
Well, I didn't know he had
Something was
ammo
gonna
left, because since he
happen.
really wanted that gun, I thought he was just out of ammo.
He had one
Well,
shot.
I also
Well-
love how loud Belinda and Bill were walking up the stairs, knowing that there's only one room left.
I know, it's
he
like
couldn't
stomp,
hear.
stomp, stomp,
Like, what
yeah.
if he's like, okay, well, nothing's gonna happen now, but
But he did say like, oh, somebody, when as soon as he made that comment about, somebody's gonna kill.
Oh yeah,
that
someone
was like
is going
someone's
to shoot.
Yeah, I knew like, okay, it's not gonna end with him just being in jail. That would just be.
oh yeah, he was gonna die. That's good.
Well, yeah, as soon as he said that.
Yeah.
So when you first saw the shot, though, who did you think killed him? Did you
Oh,
think
I-
it was Bill? Or did
No, I knew it was.
I knew
Belinda.
it was
Yeah.
Belinda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But of course, they led you to believe that
yeah.
you're
Yeah,
thinking
of
it was
course.
Bill. But
Yeah. So Belinda, a good line there though, that she
Yeah.
wants him to leave without having the weight
of the killing. Yeah, because she's
Yeah.
like she isn't getting into heaven, and
Yeah,
she
again,
burnt that
she's
bridge a
about
long
to
time
touch,
ago.
Right, and he hasn't
Right.
done anything yet. And
Right.
to have to leave and just always think about that one guy he killed.
Which
because
was a really sweet kind
was.
of moment, and again, like putting it on her because like she's whatever she'd gone through in her past.
Yeah, but also with what you were saying, where we really don't know what
That
her-
is.
Yeah, what
Exactly.
her past was.
I know.
But it was a good line, and it made for what we knew from Bill and his story, it was really good.
So, brief aside, the Mounties in this moment have captured the Native Americans leader, and then we come to Swiftwater going to confess to the father. And I just love this line from the father. He just says, "You're forgiven," and he goes, "Don't you want to hear them?" And he
Yeah.
goes, "From you, Swiftwater? No."
No.
Oh my
I
god.
thought that was really funny.
Yeah.
That guy has too many
Right.
sins.
He's like, "No, not from you. I'm too tired, dude.
Yeah.
No."
But Swiftwater also tells the father that like, okay, the new rush is going to be a gnome, like kind of.
Hey, you
tells
want to
him
come with
about
us?
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But he basically gives him the heads up that's what's happening, and
But I really like his line at the end, though. I hope you didn't just say what I thought you did, which was that the father's like basically losing hope. He goes, "If you ain't got no hope, no one does." So
Right.
yeah, that
him
was
kind of
good.
like giving the father like that he really does mean something to people and all that. So so
That's,
far,
that's what I said in
being
the
actually a
beginning,
good
that it was
character.
good for him to be there because the city needs some
Right, that's what we
sort
said
of
about.
morality.
Yeah.
And he
just
got
the
that
center.
hint because the father said something like, "Well, at least I did something good."
Yeah.
You know, like he thought like he didn't make any difference at all.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was like, "Whoa."
Yeah, so moving forward, we got Meeker and his claim being beaten up now by the men who have found him. And it was interesting, he's putting a number into his gold. And at first I thought he was just counting, but it turns out that you put the number
Your
in your
claim
gold.
number,
That's your
right.
claim. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
your claim number. So I guess that's also how they do it in
Yeah.
civilization for what you were talking
Yeah.
about
Also,
before.
Then you would know if someone steals it.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
because you'd see it
The
belonged
number.
to you. I just want to say also that Goodman said that the reason why he was trying to kill them was because he was there first, but he didn't see what they saw.
Right.
Which goes back to what I was saying also about how he's like, he probably just saw their optimism and everything that they
Yep.
could do.
Yeah,
of course.
right. Exactly.
And it was, sorry, I had
No,
to
it's
just
true.
prove
It
that
was
I
a good-
It's good. Yeah.
No, but it was
a
a
good
good
point.
moment. Yeah,
Yeah.
because he explains why he did what he did, which again was kind of a weak excuse.
Yeah,
but
and then he said, and what's funny that you mentioned was that he got dealt, specifically Goodman, you said that he was dealt a bad card, and
Right.
he said it
Yeah.
himself that he's like, I'm done with that. Who cares? I'm just going to shoot y'all and get what I should have gotten.
Being dealt bad cards by the universe.
There you go, Dean, being dealt bad cards by the universe.
Right. So after this, though, Meeker's been beaten up bad, and Bill comes and Meeker admits that the gold's been taken by these guys, except turns out that Meeker shits gold.
Yeah.
I just had to say that line.
Yeah,
Oh, my
he does.
God, he does. Ugh, that's just
He hid all of the gold.
just that shot of
In the crap.
seeing
Right.
the
Oh,
outhouse.
yeah.
I was like, oh my
It's
God.
okay. It looked like cement.
I was actually kind of surprised they showed that. Though,
I did
'cause
too.
Yeah.
I
It
was
didn't
like,
look like
nasty.
that, did it?
you
I
could,
felt
you
like
could
it
definitely
looked-
see.
Oh, you could
see.
You could see.
You could very much see.
Yes,
it.
that's what I'm saying. Like it was
Maybe I
like.
didn't pay attention.
Apparently,
yeah.
see, it's funny. Like the things that
Your
I
brain
do
blocked
see,
it.
like
Right.
I'm like, I caught the poop.
I know,
but
right?
I
Me
didn't catch
too.
like the vagina thing.
Maybe you're
Well, I caught the
reminded for that
too.
too.
I was like, oh, I can't believe they showed that.
Yeah, I was just as a base. I was like, I mean, fine. I was just surprised. Like that was one of those things that you think is too vulgar for TV.
Or you
type of
just think
thing.
like we get it without
Yeah,
having to actually
we don't
see
have to
it.
see it, thanks.
We get it.
But I did
they
like
show
the
you.
line Meeker said, "Are you
Who's
gonna get it?" Or...
Yeah, or mine.
Yeah, I like that too. That was pretty funny.
Well, and then later on, I'm like, wow, they did a good job cleaning that.
I
Again, I'm like,
know.
no running water. I'm like, you did a good job.
Yeah.
I don't want to know how you did it,
but thank you.
but you did.
You did a great job.
Yeah.
So now they have tons of gold.
Yeah,
I
tons
know,
and tons.
it was nice.
So they leave, and Bill has this nice thought as they're leaving, which is, "We were richer when we had nothing in our pockets, but a head full of hope."
I know,
Mm-hmm.
and all that, the montage of that was
Yeah.
wonderful.
But we
It,
come.
it blows my mind. Well, I mean, I know it's a mini series, but that's just nuts about Byron. That was it. That's all
Mm-hmm.
he played, and
Right.
Yeah.
That was
first episode, yeah.
Yeah, really. But he was he was the
such a
theme
significant.
though.
But he was a theme
It was
throughout.
the theme
Yeah.
for the entire thing. Okay, but go ahead.
So we go with the superintendent who's setting up the noose, and Bill tells Cavendish they have the wrong guy, and Cavendish doesn't care. So the hanging happens with the Native American who's saying that perhaps they've killed us both with his deep line, but superintendent doesn't anyways. And superintendent just not at all happy about this, and later has a convo with Cavendish, basically saying, "I'm done. I quit.
Yeah, I
That's
quit."
it. After
Well,
giving all this money."
because he says he was basically giving him a promotion at that point.
Right.
It was
Right.
like, hey, you're going to move up now. You're going to be the commissioner. You know, the place is growing.
Yeah,
and
for
he's
what?
like, yeah, he's like, no, I'm done.
I'm sure he didn't want to kill the other guy, but it was just like for the sake of the other two men, you know?
Right.
It is what it is.
And that's what he said. It was like those other two
Well, you
men were
killed-
put in the ground.
Right, I think that's what it was too. He was just pissed about the Mounties. Like he knows that the other Native Americans were innocent, so
Right.
yeah, but they weren't innocent for the Mountie thing. So yeah, but so that's kind of like wraps up his storyline as he decides that he's not going to.
Is
So
it bad that I'm kind of happy that they hung him?
the Native American leader?
Well, just because I was like, are they really going to go throughout the whole show without hanging one of them? Because, you know, that
Yeah.
happened. That definitely happened. So it just kind of made it more of a reality.
Oh, okay. Because
Oh,
you're
yeah,
saying like
yeah.
they made it realistic
They
instead
made it
of
more
saying
realistic instead of someone coming by and like snapping
Yeah.
the rope and then him running out like shanking
Okay,
him, you
yeah,
know? Like,
yeah.
it doesn't work that way.
like. Well, that was a weird thing too.
Well, it's
like
because Clint Eastwood wasn't there.
Yeah,
That's
Right,
why.
exactly.
Well, it was almost like they had the party the night before in the saloon too. I thought that was weird because remember the woman was like singing about the whatever it was with the pole and the rope. I was like, oh, they're like pre-partying before
I
the
know,
hanging, and I'm like,
pre-gang.
wow, this is so
That's
weird.
Yeah, it was
nuts.
weird.
Yeah, it's also funny how when you think about society back then that you would watch someone get killed
Right.
back then.
And
Right.
they did.
And nowadays-
You didn't see anybody like... they
Well,
just-
I have to say a lot of people do that.
I guess the
would do that
electric
recently,
chair,
like the
you go,
electric chair.
yeah,
People
yeah.
would watch, especially if they were
The
family
victim's
members
family.
or whatever. But yeah, it's
That's
like
a good
even
point.
recently people would do that.
It's a little more private though. So,
right. It's not
Right.
like out in
Yeah.
the town square where everyone can just watch as they're going about their
children
day.
watching it. So
Yeah.
Bill goes to see Belinda and wants her to come with, and Belinda's saying that the Klondikes, she found what she wanted there. She can actually be
powerful woman.
Yeah, right, she can be a powerful woman, not just a midwife or a laundry girl. That's what it was.
Yeah.
So.
She's like, I can't even.
She couldn't even vote, which was a good point.
Right.
Couldn't. So
nothing
what
in the
place
States
in society would she have
stayed.
if she didn't even have a say?
Yeah.
Yeah. So she wouldn't go.
Still, that was an idiot move.
Yeah,
Wow.
she chooses her career over love, essentially. Right. So it's just like career over love.
Some people do that.
Yeah, and where she was at too. She didn't want to leave.
Yeah.
Location. So.
I know. I mean, like, I wouldn't want to leave LA, and I can understand you don't want to leave the beautiful, wonderful weather-wise Yukon.
Well,
Not even for Rob Stark.
Say, right.
But,
You wouldn't leave LA for Rob Stark?
well, I would leave for Rob Stark.
Yeah, I know.
I mean,
I
come on.
definitely would do
Everyone
that.
has their limits here.
I mean, I'm not crazy like Belinda. Okay, if Rob Stark was like, Dave, take me, I'm like, okay,
Okay.
I'll go with you anywhere to the end of the world.
I still want the gold, still buy my hotel, and we're good.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, but she's just like, it's not for her, not her type of life. So she
His
won't do it.
face was so beautiful in that scene. He was all teary-eyed.
Sad.
Sorry, go
No,
ahead.
it's okay.
Yeah, that's all right.
So they
You
leave.
can be sad.
He heads out with Meeker and off they go.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
they-
then we get his goodbye to Father Judge. I see if he'll be all
That was
right.
awesome. I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
pre-death
having,
parade.
I'm having the pre-death parade for
I
myself.
love that.
that
It was
was
almost, it
great.
reminded me almost of like because I was wondering, I was like, what is Swiftwater doing? Like
That was
measuring with the
so
coffin? I'm like,
awesome.
are they gonna kill him so he doesn't
That's
suffer?
what I said. I thought that was
You know
weird.
what? I thought they were trying to like scare him into trying harder to live.
Yeah,
I don't know. I took it as they were gonna kill him.
I thought they were making it. I thought they were making it convenient that they were just gonna have him die.
That's
and
what I
when he died,
did.
and then just put
Yeah,
the
it was
thing
like the
over and-
weirdest
But then
thing.
you get this aside though, where you find out in a different scene when the superintendent's looking over the dead bodies that it's too cold to bury any of them.
Yeah.
So
Which is
like,
true.
when
You
they
don't
were
do that up north today.
Right. So
either.
when they were measuring the coffin, I'm like, well, there's really no point for
What
it.
do you mean?
So
What do they? Oh, because they
The
just
ground
they
was
just
too cold.
It's too cold.
dig.
They can't dig in the
Oh,
ground. I mean, they
okay.
do that now today. You wait until the spring for people up north to be
right. So
buried.
there's like a
Oh, right, because
foreshadow
the
for
body
that.
won't even go bad. Or I mean, sorry.
Yeah.
I mean,
But
yeah,
I love
'cause it's frozen.
the
Yeah,
way
yeah.
they did it. Though it was sort of like a New Orleans like
Yeah, it was very New
parade.
Orleans.
That's what it made me
like-
think of. It was like
It
they're all
did.
having the party.
Well, that
the
was like the music.
band.
Yeah, the music was like, you know,
But it's
we got
definitely
going
like,
on.
great.
Yeah, a great thing for him to find
Yeah.
out how much people really did
I
Yeah.
appreciate
also
it.
I love
loved
that.
to see him laugh.
Yeah.
Because he started
Yeah.
laughing. That
Yeah.
was sweet.
It was very nice. So
It was
that was
good.
a great way
a
for
great
him to go.
moment.
I'm totally gonna do that.
Definitely.
So Bill and Meeker.
So Bill and Meeker though on the road and
Why?
so the dog's whining. And then just in the moment where Meeker's having fun with life, just when
Yeah,
nature screws you over,
Right.
he's having fun on ice.
And he even says that. Just
That's
when
yeah.
nature,
Child,
right?
I'll start to love it. And then the ice.
Crack.
Yeah,
Can you
Well, you
believe
can't be
that?
dancing around on a frozen river.
yeah, that's pretty
I know.
stupid,
Okay.
really.
On thin ice.
On thin ice
You're
with
on
a
thin
backpack
ice.
full of gold.
Meeker was never the brightest person unless
No.
it came to the privy. That was
That's true.
Right.
That's the only smart
Well,
thing he
as
did.
Cavendish said, every man has his moment of inspiration, and Meeker's was in the privy.
That's
so,
right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So
Great.
Meeker falls into the river.
Oh man,
Yeah.
are you
And the first
kidding?
thought I went was, no, the gold.
That's what I thought too, which was the horrible
So
thing that I
obvious
thought
that
about.
all the gold was going.
Right.
It's just like, oh my god.
And it was horrible that I thought that way. I'm like, the Klondike's getting to me now too.
Yeah.
Because I'm caring more about the gold.
The Klondike's
the-
getting to me.
But they make it
the
so like
human
clear,
life.
like all the gold's going in, and like.
Well, I'm
Meeker's-
so good because I was like, no, Meeker.
You're still good.
Yeah, you still good.
Well, I was
I'm
just
evil.
thinking, like, my thought was more just like, did he have all the gold on him?
Well, I thought that
Right,
too.
that
too.
was-
I
I was
was
worried
worried
about
did think that.
Okay, I'll give you that.
Yeah,
I was
did
about
think
to
that.
be angry.
Yeah.
He was like,
Oh,
But then
yeah,
I
he
was like,
rich.
oh,
He was
rich.
rich.
It would have been great if Bill pulled out a whole chunk of gold, like a whole gold bar from his shoe, and it's just like, good thing I kept this in my
Yeah,
sock.
yeah.
An entire like chunk
Good
of
thing I
it.
never gave all of it away.
Yeah.
So
oh, Byron.
Oh.
yeah, so after that we get all the wrap ups of everybody though after all this scene and sad moments. But I mean it ends up with the whole happy thing with Swiftwater. So we find out the ending of everybody, which is or actually we see Bill. Sorry, Bill's back at Chilkoot Pass, and he's just like that guy we saw in the very
yeah,
beginning.
the
of the
very
show.
beginning.
That's what I thought. I'm
We were
like,
doing
was
the
that
goggles.
him or was that not him at the first? Because then I was like, was that actually him in the first episode? And we didn't know.
Did they
thought
just
that
bring
was
time
weird.
travel into this?
That
I
was
was like-
weird.
It was-
But
was it?
no.
It wasn't
No,
the same guy.
This
No.
was just the same thing happening again because
Yeah.
everyone was like, "Is it true? Is there
Yeah.
gold up there?" And then he said,
Because I thought it was actually him
much.
because we had it was
I
at
know.
the very very beginning. I'm like, that's
And
really
no,
cool.
because like,
It
are we the
was.
same
Bill-
year or not? Like
Because they look like him. Because it was
Yeah,
like the
but
dirty,
Bill-
like the
Bill
goggles
actually
and
talked to
beard.
that guy, so it couldn't be.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
But it's February.
I love
Cool.
two things happened there. One, he said you just got to look in the right places.
Yeah.
Perfect because Goodman clearly proved
Right.
that he just wasn't looking in the right places. So be optimistic. And then that orange.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the orange.
the orange.
That was
Yeah.
fantastic.
Right?
Yeah,
How
that's
orange
great.
was
That's
the
all you want.
orange?
Yeah,
though?
which I felt like they obviously, it was like, let's make that stick out there. We're going to
So
colorize it like neon orange.
Yeah.
That was great. That was a great little scene. And then, of course, just seeing the end of like where everyone.
Oh yeah, Bill
And
ends
yeah.
up in buys an orange grove. Did you see
So,
what it was
Yeah.
called?
like he both has the
Yeah.
100-acre farm and oranges.
And the
so
oranges.
It's both
Yes.
of the dreams.
Yeah.
At the same time.
Yeah.
Which I thought was
like,
cool.
It
What was
was
it
like
called?
Forrest Gump. It was
And
like
on the
Bubblegum
box
all
it
over
said
again.
golden oranges.
orange.
And I was like, oh, I like that.
Yeah,
I
it's good.
have to do one last movie preference, but it's like Forrest Gump, Bubba and Forrest.
Yeah.
Sorry, he died. You gotta live the dream for both
That's
of them.
really this show was really just a bunch of movie references.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
all it is.
right.
No, I mean not our show. I mean the show itself.
The show itself.
References, so.
That's really what they're going to say. The whole point of that was.
So then the wrap up of all the
Right,
people.
so we find Jack
Yeah.
London being interviewed about the
Love
Klondike
it.
women there, so
Yeah,
that's
that was
real.
great.
That was
That
actual
was
history.
so awesome.
And
with his books being a success.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And Father Judge did die, and the gold is from within on his grave, so a good memento of him.
Yep.
And then Belinda, bad things happened to her.
She lives forever though.
Oh, she did
like
live a long time.
1967. I was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
holy
She lived a long
crap.
time.
She went from the
Definitely.
1800s to the 60s.
I mean, she was like in her 90s. But I
She
thought
got to see the sexual revolution. She must have been happy then. She
as
was
an
like,
old lady.
Yeah,
I
as
can
an old
die
lady.
in peace.
Right.
That's why she
That's
lived long
true.
enough to die in peace.
But
Yeah.
it was, yeah. So she finally made it past all that. But it was interesting because she did foreshadow. She totally
Yeah.
talked about it. About like, I don't want to be a laundry girl, and then she ends up being like a housekeeper.
And
at the
Yeah.
end of her
she
life.
died penniless as a housekeeper.
Yeah.
She should have went with Bill.
And the
that was the moral of the
No,
story.
but then
Yes.
Bill goes back to the
Well-
Klondike and disappears forever.
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 Frustrating.
So I think in predictions, he's still alive.
Yep,
He's still alive at
today.
140 years old, still looking for that gold
Maybe.
somewhere
I
out
think he
there.
must have gone
No.
bankrupt. I think like my guess is he went bankrupt on the orange
Maybe
business
he did
and
find
like
Belinda.
No,
Maybe
yeah.
He went back to find Belinda, and she
Maybe
was
he
already
went to
married then.
Find Belinda. That's what happened.
Do you guys think I'd be cute with Rob?
yes.
Okay, thanks. Now we can end the show. All right.
I know, now it's like giving us some music like we're at the Oscars and we're doing a speech. It's like, all right, time to go.
Never
wrap
heard
it
from
up.
again.
That's why
Yeah.
he didn't have her was so he could end up with Stephanie Giorgi.
There you
That's
go.
right.
Why. So
That's the whole point.
that is how.
Well, boys, it was very fun.
It was fun.
It was a great time.
It was lovely.
And I'm gonna leave this show penniless, just like
Just the way I started though.
Just
So
like-
I'm penniless, just like I started.
Hey, but
so-
we have the
Here.
heart full of hope.
Hey, Meeker's Gold's still out
I
there.
still got a head full of hope. So
Let's do
yeah.
it.
Full of hope.
Exactly. But guys, thank you so much for joining us on the final finale of Klondike. And once again, I'm Dave Klein. You can find me on Twitter at @TheDaveKlein. That's Klein.
And you can find me on Twitter at SMan80. That's SMAN80. And here for Looking and Archer and Chosen after shows.
And you can find me on Twitter at Stephanie Giorgi and on Instagram at SteffiG47 and tonight on American Idol's After Show.
All right. And you can find me on Twitter at Dillon Chance.
Yeah. Best Twitter name ever.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.